we are the BBB Island Scooping Park. Today is Monday, January 22nd of 2018. Earlier today, the labor strike by prison guards in Paris, France, entered its second week. The strike's purpose is for the workers to be able to get a reasonable amount of pay and to be able to get safer working conditions. This reminded people of the strikes that took place during the Industrial Revolution. We have been able to find several videos as primary sources that show why laws and unions were created during the Industrial Revolution. The first video that we will show you was filmed in the 20th century after several reformers such as Jacob Riis and Louis Hines exposed the terrible working conditions of factories and meat plants. It is a clip of negotiation between factory workers and factory owners. Let's take a look at it. There have been multiple photographs exposing the working conditions provided to the workers in the factories. There have also been editorials that have been showing the opinions of the people on this issue.
I'm the owner of the factory, and I clearly think that the working conditions are fine.
An area with poor ventilation with unguarded machinery. Who would want to work in such a dangerous place? I've seen people who suffer through limb loss and lung disease. We work in unsafe buildings with not enough safety equipment. The worry of death keeps me up at night.
We have no responsibility over these absurd cases of limb loss. It's completely the workers' fault for not focusing on their work when they were supposed to. When accidents occur, we are the ones that have to pay for the machines. The worker who caused the incident should pay for sharing my lovely little machines. You can't call our buildings unsafe because we also work in these factories. Of course it's safe.
Imagine being locked in a tiny building, starving, treated miserably, having to work 14 hours a day for 6 days a week. Would you be able to work without getting hurt? After going through all these miserable incidents, you still blame us for just playing around. Please think about us too. We're human too.
It was you and your family's decision to walk into my factory. If you want to quit, sure you can. There are 10 people who are waiting to take your place at this very moment. If you want someone to care about you, walk out the factory door right now. No one in the factory is on your side. No one is willing to listen to your exaggerated story.
Recently, it has been found out that there is a lot of wage gaps between men, women, and children. On a weekly basis, men would earn about 10 to 15 shillings, women would earn about 5 shillings, and children would earn about 1 shilling.
Why would we pay women more money if the reason we hire them is just because they're cheap and obedient? Children are not even fully grown. They don't have the capability to do much work. In the factory, we're kindly teaching them how to behave correctly.
No offense, sir. You make us do all the hard work. You just wait around for profit.
Not only that, but you don't dare step foot in the working area. Being born with a silver spoon in your mouth gives you no rights to say such horrid things to underpaid, hardworking workers.
Can you please explain the work you do in the factory? As far as I know, all you do is run around and fix the machines.
I'm only 10. What could you do when you were 10? If you fed me better, I could definitely do more work than I already do. I reach into tiny places your male workers can't reach into. I run around the factory taking care of things that no one is willing to do. I get paid 1 shilling a week when my work is equal to a 5 at least. I don't understand why the government of our society hasn't yet done much for the issue of child labor. I truly hope you appreciate me because I can leave at any moment.
With this, we can all come to a conclusion that technology, in this case factories, led to people from different social classes living completely different lives. Factories increase the gap between businessmen and workers. This discussion has clearly shown the reasons for revolts and strikes. It shows the differences that existed between poorly treated workers and careless owners of factories. The second clip is an interview clip that took place in a strike during January 17th of 1937 called the Auto Workers' Strike. It is a strike where workers fought for shorter working hours and more pay, overall better working conditions. Workers were willing to gain better working environments and legal rights.
Good afternoon. Today we're at the scene of a very severe strike. Here I'm keen to hear the desperate voices of these young women and men next to me. Let's start with this nice lady on my side. Good afternoon.
My name is Mary, and I used to work in a textile factory before I decided to join this union to be able to fight for my rights.
How has it been?
I thought it would be the best experience for me when I first joined the union, since I thought that I would be able to stand up for myself and fight to earn for what I deserve. However, joining a union did not help me at all, at least not financially. It has only been a week since I first joined the union, but I have already been blacklisted, which means that not only am I fired from my job, but I will no longer be able to get a job anymore. Now my son has to work for 16 hours a day because of my mistake.
But how has your child been working 16 hours a day?
Although they're inspectors, they are easily bribed by factory owners, so they are pretty much useless. The owners of the factories are desperate to derive benefit from the workers, and the workers are so desperate to earn money. I'm here because I have no other choice but to fight, but I wouldn't recommend joining.
Thank you, ma'am.
Give us what we deserve. Higher wages, better conditions.
Young gentleman, I see your body is filled with anger. Can you please explain the situation to me?
The factory cut the wages for the second time in just 6 months. It's a miracle if I can't even eat a decent amount every day.
Oh, that doesn't seem good. Can you tell me about your perspective?
We are not their dogs. We are humans who have right to be respected and get reasonable amount of wages. Children like me are trapped in a cage of factory owners where you can never get out. They don't give us enough money for our basic needs. If we can't afford food, we have to get money from the factory and have to pay them back later. Because all the shops that we use belong to the factory, we just can't get free from the factory.
Well, can you please explain to me which union you joined and why?
Joining the union was a perfect choice for me. I joined a union called the American Federation of Labor, founded by Samuel Gompers. When I was just a little kid, without courage, power, or determination, the members of the union and its advertisement caught my mind. I love the system how workers can fight against the factory and even win.
Can you tell me about the AFL?
Sure. The AFL was founded in 1886 by Samuel Gompers. In my opinion, this union will be really successful. It has learned from the mistakes of the Knights of Labor. With better organization and strike tactics, it can be the most successful union in American labor history and will last for more than 100 years. Unions have accomplished a lot. It was really helpful to the workers. Together, we fought for our rights and even changed laws for other workers. Without unions, it would have been impossible to even get our least amount of rights we deserve. It significantly improved the overall conditions and wages for the workers. It's time for us, the workers, to shine.
That sounds great. Thank you so much for your time and explaining. We wanted the truth out of the labor world. I hope this ends successfully. Next off, we are going to interview Gregory Chen Chen, the owner of the factory.
The workers came in desperate to get a job. I gave them a job. Then one person gets injured because of carelessness, and everyone calls me evil. I provided these men of the labor pool life when they had nothing. And now they're whining because they were injured from their carelessness of handling my machines.
So, what about your union busting?
If my workers stop working for me, I stop paying them. Unions are really dangerous to me. Why should I raise their wages when they're never satisfied? Keep going on strike. There are plenty of more workers waiting in line. I have no choice but to blacklist them. That's the price for joining unions. Unions are unnecessary. They don't even benefit us. So I'll hire other workers to go stop them. What's wrong with that?
As mentioned in the clip, inspectors that the government sent out to ensure that the working conditions were safe weren't always doing their work. However, this report that an inspector wrote in 1963 does prove to us that some inspectors did try their best to provide the best for the workers. With these clips that people of the Industrial Revolution have left us, we can come to a conclusion that the Industrial Revolution and today have a lot of connections. Although the conditions that workers are given nowadays are still very terrible, and although child labor is a very big issue in many developing countries, the many laws that have been established throughout eventually helped improve our society. If mistreated workers never decided to stand up for themselves, if they never decided to go on strikes, would we have the world that we live in today?